This is a brief overview of Futato chapter 22. The chapter covers pronoun suffixes on prepositions. Now up to this point we've had pronoun suffixes on nouns. This is actually going to be a pretty easy chapter for you because you should already, of course, have memorized the pronoun suffixes. We had several chapters on them. There were suffixes that get attached to singular nouns and suffixes that get attached to plural nouns. Either of those kinds of suffixes, okay, either the ones as what I have highlighted here, suffixes added to singular nouns, and then down here suffixes added to plural nouns. Depending on the preposition, a particular preposition will take one or other of those kinds of suffixes. So here we have in the first example the preposition lamed, just our L preposition, that will take suffixes of the type that are normally added to singular nouns. So so, okay, his horse, lo, to him, so on and so forth. But you've already memorized the forms. There's nothing new in terms of forms here for you. It's just being able to recognize when you see a preposition, hey, that's a suffix, and just a warning, it could either be the kind that's added to singular nouns or the kind that's added to plural nouns. Prepositions that take suffixes added to singular nouns, other examples would be preposition bet, betoch, im. Again, he gives you examples of how those would look. Prepositions that take suffixes added to plural nouns are going to be prepositions like el. Right here we have elav, so the noun would be susav, which would be his horses. Again, this is the kind of suffix that goes on a plural noun, so that tells us how to translate the noun, his horses. And the preposition el gets the same ending, elav, to him, eleha, to her, so on and so forth. Other prepositions that take those kinds of suffixes, lifnei, al, tachat, and again he gives you an example of what that would look like. Preposition min, there's going to be something to just be cognizant of here, and I've created a very short grammar video for this chapter that will be a repetition of this. But in the case of min will often get written twice and then the suffix is added. So min plus min is going to look like this, mimen. Notice the dagesh in the second mem to denote duplication. Okay, actually in this case it'd be a dot that indicates the assimilation of the first noon. So sorry that I don't want to get you confused. But min plus min, this noon here will assimilate into the following mem, and that's what gives you the dot. So mimen, and then your suffix. So mimenu. Now notice this is going to be the one right here that you have to memorize, or that you have to at least, it needs to go off in your head. We don't have holam vav as our suffix. We have what looks like a shorek. Okay, it is a shorek in the way it's spelled and pronounced. So we need to remember that when we have preposition min, when we see this on the end, that's actually a suffix, so it'd be from him. And that's really about the only thing in this chapter that's going to be new or challenging for you. Preposition kaf with suffixes will take a long form. So instead of kaf, it'll be kamo. And so you just need to add this as a vocabulary word if Futato doesn't already. So kamo hu. So here we have hu, and you can cheat a little bit because that should remind you of the pronoun hu, which means he, and that might get you over here to him, like him. But again, if you just want to take a note here, just like above with preposition min, that it's doubled, and you have the shorek at the end, which is actually a suffix. Here you do as well, but we add the H, who. So anytime you see who at the end of something, it's going to be a suffix pronoun that means him. And with kaf, there's just this long form, kamo. In the plurals, you'll notice that some of the plurals just stick with the normal kaf. Again, that shouldn't throw you off because you know what preposition kaf is. But you'll notice back here, or down here, we have kamo, we have the long form. So what you have with preposition kaf is it'll either appear the way you learned it, the short form, or there will be this longer form, kamo, prior to a suffix. Direct object marker will take suffixes, and with the direct object marker, ate or et will change to ot, long O vowel, ot plus the suffix. Oto is him. That's how you just translated him. So you only translate the suffix because what you have here is just the direct object marker. It's marking a pronoun as the object of whatever verb it might happen to be. So that one is also very easy. Resumptive pronouns on prepositions. Now you should read this and understand it conceptually, but don't let it trouble you or confuse you, because you're going to be seeing something in Hebrew that if you translate it woodenly literally, it's not going to make good English, and then you'll have to convert it to proper English to get this in which sort of situation, or before whom. You know, again, you're going to have to use an English relative pronoun to translate this stuff. Let's just go through the example here, and you'll see what I mean. So we have hamakom, which is the place, and then we have asher, which is which. The place which, yashav is just a simple cow perfect, third masculine singular. The place which he dwelled or he lived, and then we have bo, in it. So the place which he lived in it. That's very awkward English. What's going on here is the bo here, in it, refers back to this, refers back to the place. So this pronoun is called resumptive because it sort of picks up the thought that was created by this noun back here. So the place which he lived in it is, in proper English, the place in which he lived or in which he dwelled. That's how we would render it in English. So my little cheat here, my little suggestion here is try to translate, again, very literally, and when you run into these sorts of situations, because this resumptive pronoun is not the first one, when you run into these certain situations that just require better English, hey, use the better English. You're not bound to the wooden literalism, but in this case, starting out really rigidly literally will help you to parse or understand what's going on with bo out here. It'll just force you, just by sheer necessity of rendering in correct English, it'll force you to translate it the way it needs to be translated, but grammatically you should realize that, oh, this sort of extra preposition and suffix out here is just resuming the thought of this thing back here. That's all you need to know. Then you understand resumptive pronouns. Let's go to the next one. Ha'ir, the city which halak, okay, cow, perfect, third masculine singular, he walked. The city which he walked, eleha, to it. The city which he walked to it. Very awkward English. It's the city to which he walked. Again, eleha resumes the thought of ha'ir back here. And lastly, hamelech asher, so the king which or who, again, since we have a person here, it could be either. In English, again, properly be who or whom, because that's the relative pronoun you use in English when referring to people. So we have Hamelech, the king who Amad knew, we stood before him. The king who we stood before him. It's just terribly awkward. So we know what it means. It means the king before whom we stood. So again, we have lifnei with a suffix. That suffix and preposition combination, and that pronoun is going to refer back to right here, hamelech, that thought. It's going to resume that thought. So that's the chapter. Here we hit vocab, and of course that's a separate video and the exercises. But I think you'll find this chapter pretty easy, which again might give you a little bit of a break in terms of your schedule, but if not, just keep plowing through. But this is the end of the overview for Futato chapter 22.